Before the Arkham games, superhero games were hit and miss, and I would know since I grew up with most of them. But we had games like Marvel Nemesis, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Spiderman 2, all great games back then. But were any of them really genre defining? Something that really made the genre of superheroes, in video games stick out and really become popular? Some would argue that Spider-Man 2 did. Spider-Man 2 was a fantastic game, but I think it was limited by when it came out and it being a movie licensed game and so on. When most people think of the superhero game that changed the whole game pretty much, they think of the Arkham games. Arkham Asylum was the first to really start that off, and that game was fantastic. I loved it. But I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that Arkham City was the game in the franchise. All the games were extremely well done, don't get it twisted, but Arkham City was the game that really got it on the board and really garnered interest from a lot of people. This video is going to discuss what made Arkham City so revolutionary and extremely unique. It's not going to be a review, there's a ton of those online already, even recent ones that were made months ago at the time of this video. Just to give you a perspective on how people still talk about that game today, even a decade later. But what this video will talk about is why this game still lingers in people's minds, because it's not just about the amazing gameplay and story, but it's also about everything that revolves around it, from the small details, to the Easter eggs, to the nostalgia, to little tricks in the game. I mean, I remember there being just a bunch of theories that people had about this game, like Man-Bat being in the game, or people were like, oh yeah, in the church, this dead mice and these chalices allude to Man-Bat, or I've seen Man-Bat flying around in Arkham City. Stuff like that is so cool. It reminds me of like in Pokemon when people thought that under the truck there was a Mew you can catch, but that theory was never true. And just stuff like that made this game so much more special and so much more memorable, and I loved every second of that. Even if they were wrong, like I don't think there were any Man-Bat Easter eggs or anything like that in the game, it's just so cool to have stuff like that in the game for fans to like theorize and be like, oh wait, is this true? Is this real? It's just so cool, and I love that Arkham City has that aspect in it. Me saying I love Batman Arkham City is an understatement. This game, I'm just at a loss for words of how much it means to me. This game was a huge part of my childhood. It was one of the last games I played where I just kind of remember sitting on the floor, not even a chair, and just having a bunch of snacks and just playing all night before going to school, This game really captured everything from when I was a small kid watching the Batman animated series, and then growing up and learning and enjoying more about DC, to then playing this full-fledged AAA Batman game, and there was just no feeling like it. I have beaten this game over 500 times. As crazy as that sounds, I swear to you, I've beaten this game at least over 500 times, probably way more than that. Arkham City set the bar extremely high for all superhero games to come after it, and this video is going to discuss all the things it got right and what made it so special to everybody. This game encapsulated everything that fans wanted and everything a gamer wanted, a huge reason as to why it's universally loved. The video is going to be discussed by somebody who is a huge fan of the DC universe and in particular Batman lore. Batman Arkham City flourishes with its story and gameplay. Everyone knows this, but something that makes this game really stand out is its atmosphere and movement. And I'm just not talking about the grittiness of the city and all that jazz for its atmosphere, but just the very nuanced stuff like how you can essentially spider swing with the grapple if you cancel before reaching a ledge, and then gliding mid-air to give you a nice little speed boosts. Gameplay like that is just excellent. And for its atmosphere, there's just so much detail in every nook and cranny in the game. Rocksteady is known for their detail, and there's so much in this game. Like how you can see Selina's apartment a little bit, but you can't enter it and explore it. But it's just something that was not necessary. You can see it, from the windows on the rooftops of her apartment. And stuff like that isn't needed, but they added it in, and it's just stuff like that that's so small and so insignificant, but it's just so cool that they added it in. All of that is fantastic, right? But what makes people come back to this game and keep on playing it is the gameplay. The gameplay is so addicting. The story and everything else is amazing, but ultimately people want to actually play a fun game, right? With fun mechanics. Arkham City feels so intuitive, yet so smooth to just pick up and play at the same time. Flying around the map and just beating up thugs with the extremely satisfying combat system just never gets old. The Predator sections can be done in hundreds of different ways. Doing Riddler trophies or side missions around the map in any order feels so seamless and so fun. As annoying as the Riddler trophies can be, you gotta admit that it's kind of memorable just for that fact. And even for me, I kind of enjoyed going for them at the end game, you know? There also feels like there's always spots you can try to get to that you're not supposed to, like, a weird comparison, but if you've ever played Modern Warfare 2, the Call of Duty game, and how you can, like, people always try to get to spots on the map you're not supposed to, Batman Arkham City kind of feels like that too when you're trying to glide to a certain part of the map or trying to find a way to, like, you know, get into this one spot that you're not supposed to. It feels like this game does that. Stuff like that just makes a game super memorable, at least for me. I love just trying to finish the story as much as I can as well, or just do the side missions all over again and so on. There's just something super addicting about it, and the fast-paced gameplay really adds and helps to the effect. This game lets you play as Batman real quickly and lets you off the leash very quickly in the very beginning of the game, so it's not like there's a long tutorial or anything. The game lets the gameplay do most of the work, which is something I feel is extremely appreciated, for me at least. I think the biggest thing for me of the atmosphere is the lack of music in the overworld and the sense of loneliness you get. For the most part, when you're just flying around Arkham City not really doing anything, there's a sense of eeriness and dread, and like I said, you feel kind of lonely. Just sitting on a rooftop and seeing how run down this section of Gotham is really sets in those emotions. I mean, just look at the section where you open the ship in the city and really just hone in on the noises and eeriness you can hear and feel due to the lack of music.
Why is it always snowing in here? Is it because of Mr. Freeze?
When you just sit there and take in what's going on around you or lack thereof, it can get creepy. And not in like the superhero Gotham dark and gritty creepy way, but like legit just generally creepy. From a gameplay perspective and just a human emotion standpoint, I guess, the world here just feels legitimately like creepy, eerie. And I don't know what it is, but Rocksteady really nailed that part more than I think they would have thought. As for the characters, they were all done, I think, legit perfectly. Every single character feels like they were done justice to the highest degree. This Batman is my favorite version of Batman of all time. They nailed his character perfectly. He's dark, he's brooding, but he has a sarcastic sense of humor about him that helps him refrain from being a robot.
Bruce? Where the hell have you been? I thought you were dead.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Did you find Raish?
Alfred, I need to find a route into the Sionis steel mill.
Have you tried the front door, sir?
Why didn't I think of that?
It was obviously too easy.
His costume and bat symbol, I think, are perfect, and I especially love how Rocksteady found a perfect way to implement the white eyes with the non-white eyes. His eyes are there out of detective mode, but has the white eyes when in detective mode. I think that's such an underappreciated design choice that appeases to both sides of the fandom that like the white eyes or not. And I know it was done in The Dark Knight, but still, it's nice to see here. The dialogue too. Everything, what I think makes dialogue really important is the subtlety. And the subtle things that they say that lets you know that Batman has been doing this for many years is really well done. The conversations between Batman and his allies talking about things that have happened in the past and how he has learned from them is really well done.
Barbara, I've uploaded Freeze's unfinished cure. It looks to me like the answer is...
Found in Ra's al Ghul's blood. Okay, Bruce, I guess you need to go after him. But please stay focused. Don't let her get in the way again.
I see you have sent a data request on the League of Assassins to the Bat computer. Oh, and another equipment request. Did you ever consider a bigger build?
I did. Too heavy. Slowed me down. Let me know when it's here.
Letting you know that this Batman has learned from his errors before. The universe in general is so well built, And I think a huge part of it goes to the subtlety. The game never shoves some huge Easter egg or cameo in to kind of like let you know how big the universe is. They instead implement it in small ways to let you know that Metropolis exists in the world, or Keystone exists in the world. It's something I appreciate because it's cool to think about, but they don't ruin and litter the game with a ton of these. The game is also just, in general, riddled with great Easter eggs and references as well. Some are more obvious than others, some that diehard fans would notice like me. But like I said, the attention to detail is super insane. And the beauty of it all is that you don't need to know any of this to enjoy the game. And at the core of it, this game is just really fun. You don't need to know any of this to enjoy it, which I think is just so good. Because both sides, big nerds like me or just casual fans can enjoy the game. The Batman character is also, of course, complete due to the legendary Kevin Conroy voicing him, which makes it tie all together. He was the key to it all. All the voices for all the characters in the game were really well done. Of course, Mark Hamill's the Joker, another legendary voice actor, and so on. And because of the well-written dialogue and story, it's easy to buy just how strong this Batman is, because this is damn near the most overpowered version of Batman that we have seen probably in a while. Batman goes through all of these areas in Arkham City and just eases his way through it like it's nothing. Just for example, he needs Ra's al Ghul's blood. I call him Ra's al Ghul. I know some people call him Raish, but I like saying Ra's al Ghul. He's one of the deadliest warriors on the planet, and Batman has to track him down in his hideout in Arkham City, fighting off his army during it all, and then he has to play him to think that he'll work for him, and then tells him he won't and just needs his blood. He then beats the crap out of Ra's, takes his blood forcefully, and just leaves. What could be a legit whole video game in itself as a section, and something that most people die trying to even think about or attempt, is something that Batman does in like an hour in the game without batting an eye. It's insane how powerful this version of Batman is, and at the same time it's super interesting of a character aspect, and it's just so well done here too. Like you buy it. But even if you don't care about the story, the voice acting, characters, whatever, what I love about Arkham City is that even a very casual person who doesn't know or care about these things can just really enjoy the game anyway, through its addicting gameplay and combat. It's just such a well-crafted game from both ends of the spectrum that is extremely well done and set the bar so high for superhero games to come after it. As a video game, it's just extremely fun and addicting. When you want to play a video game, you want at its core to just be fun, just simple fun, right? And this game delivers. And it's a big reason as to why I and a lot of other people keep coming back to play it consistently. Batman Arkham Asylum really started the next era of superhero games, but Arkham City worked on those foundations and made itself, in my opinion, the game of the franchise and one of the greats of superhero gaming. If there was a Mount Rushmore of superhero games, Arkham City has for sure earned its spot. It has the added benefit of having nostalgia considering how long it's came out. It came out about 10 years ago now. And with the added bonus of having these familiar voice actors in the game like Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, it just goes to show how amazing of a game it is. Batman Arkham City is a game that means a lot to a lot of people, including me. For some, it's just a great game that they played and moved on with. For others, it's a monumental game for the genre that set the bar extremely high. There's just so much to enjoy about the game, and people love it for different reasons. For me, it's not only a childhood game of mine, but it was an experience I'll never forget when I first played it. The music, the atmosphere, it being a damn near perfect Batman universe, for a fan like me, it was everything I thought was impossible to put in a game, but it delivered. And then some. I played Arkham Asylum first, and I remember loving it. I still love it. It's one of my favorite games too. But Arkham City just changed the way I think about a superhero game, and I realized how good they could be moving forward. The risks they took all felt earned. So many major characters died in this game. Talia, Raish, I call him Raish now, Hugo Strange, and Joker. The game's skins and other characters you can play as like Catwoman, Robin, and Nightwing were all so well done too, and they're one of my favorite parts of the game, being able to play these characters. This game was not only a game, but an experience. The sheer improvements and pure fun the game gives you, the freedom it provides, and how it withstands the test of time over a decade later is insane. The only gripe I have with this game is wishing there was more. It was so concise and was such a huge love letter to Batman fans. It's like the animated series but more mature and darker, as if it grew up with us and wanted a more mature series. This is it. I'm just one fan, but I think I can speak for everyone who is also one when I say that this game was an unforgettable masterpiece and that we love everything that's come out of it. This game will forever be timeless. I love this game.
All units coordinated. What the... What the hell happened in there?